I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. I want you to get up right now. Get up, go to your windows, open them, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. Things have got to change.
How many stations does this go out?
You've got to get mad.
67.
Say,
I know it goes to Louisville and Atlanta.
I'm not going to take this anymore. Then we'll figure out what to do about the depression and the inflation and the oil crisis. But first, get up out of your chairs, open the window, stick your head out and yell, and say, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Who are you
That's 45 years old. That's from 1976. If some of you are not familiar with that film, if some of you are, you know what? I forgot to adjust my focus here, guys. Stand by. Apologies. I just realized I'm completely out of focus over here. God, what a way to screw up the opening of a show when you've got everything so tight. All right. All right. Getting back to the point, that's from Network, written by Patty Chayefsky. It was a prediction of the future. Notice how they talked about inflation, they talked about oil, they talked about the Russians. Nothing's changed. It only seems to have gotten worse. And I was reminded of that clip from Network as I read this week's news, and I'm going to tell you, everybody, it's going to be a real barn burner tonight, and it's not going to rely on Bessie the cow showing up to kick over a lantern. So before I go any further, I want to welcome my co-host for the evening, Mr. Kit Cabello.
How you doing?
And Mr. Edward Heller. Cheers. I was thinking about pouring a stiff one, but I want to stay. I don't want to get too crazy with the mixed libations tonight because there's just not a whole lot to celebrate in my estimation with some of this stuff that we've been following this week. Not only with the shooting in Texas, that had some repercussions here in Chicago, at least with our elected leaders, but violence on our streets, continued corruption with our elected representatives, as we're going to go into. Guys, how you doing tonight, Kit?
After seeing everything that's been going on this entire week, I'm very well familiar of the film, Network, and I am mad as hell, and I'm tired of taking it. I'm tired of these lackluster politicians. It seems like nothing has changed. And as a young man, and growing up and up until now, things have progressively gotten worse. I always want to say, I want to say to our audience, look, I'm not going to tell you what to think. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, and I won't tell you what to do with your life, because guess what? I believe that you're capable of doing that decision, all those decisions for yourselves. Sadly, we have politicians and the media that tell you that you cannot think, you cannot make these choices. They dance and drink because they believe you, the people, are weak. They dance and drink because they believe you are not capable of making any decision for yourself. Now, when we started Hard Lens Media, and to another extent Chicago Corner, we did this to empower and inform the people so that you can make the decision, so that you're well aware of what's happening out there, and so that we can filter out the BS, the neoliberal BS that's being presented to you. I want to say things are going to get better. You know, Daniel has always said that I'm idealistic, but I'm running on empty. I'm tired of it.
Yep. That's where I'm at, man.
There comes a point. Look, I'm not going to tell you to vote Democrat, because you know what? That ship has long since sailed. I'm not going to tell you to compromise the Democratic Party, because compromise gets you the middle finger. At this point, there has to be some aggressive pushback. Something needs to be done. Something has to change. And I'm not going to rely on somebody like Bernie Sanders to say the same old song and dance, and things are going to get nice. No, I'm tired of platitudes. I'm tired of AOC's platitudes. I'm tired of Nina Turner's platitudes. I'm tired of people that will associate themselves with a neoliberal party that will compromise to the GOP, that will compromise to Wall Street and the big banks and the corporations. So how am I doing, Jerry? I'm angry. But it's more than I'm just angry. It's going to take to get people in the game to finally say enough. Because our politicians won't do anything. We got politicians who are in their 80s and 90s at the federal level and the state level that don't care about us, don't respect us, and don't think about us. We have a media that thinks we're dumb. So with that being said, what do I owe this system? What do I owe this system? If it doesn't respect me, I will not respect it, and I will demand change. And I hope our audience feels the same way too. And look, let's not be humorous here. Don't put the clip up, man. But I believe Chicago is filled with good people.
No, I'm not. I'm getting more serious with this stuff.
Chicago is filled with good people. So fuck you, Fox News, for all your propaganda. I know Chicago's got its problems. So does every other fucking town and city in America. It's just Chicago's a little bit. What if you really want me to, Fox News? I'll be more than happy to shine a light on all these little small towns and all the other places. Because guess what? Some of them are just as worse as Chicago. It's just easy for you to poke at Chicago. But if you can live here, then you can make it. If you can make it here in Chicago, you can make it anywhere. And this city demands good people. This city demands responsible leadership. This country demands responsible leadership. Because I'm tired of playing this back and forth game. So if you want to talk about, oh, let's compromise with Democrats, or, oh, let's feel nice, watch TYT or Majority Report or Crystal and Kyle. Go ahead, turn your brain off. Now, they say a good game, but they're going to tell you to vote blue no matter who.
Yep is all they do.
And if you want to be a puppet, watch corporate media. And if you want to be a slave, vote Democrat or Republican. Because guess what? You're not going to get that here at Chicago Corner. That's how I'm feeling today, Jerry.
Yeah, I'm glad you played that clip from Network at the beginning of the show, Jerry. It actually, I had seen Network many years before, but the last time that I really had seen that clip in heavy rotation was, about a decade ago, maybe a little longer. Remember when Occupy Wall Street just started?
Yeah.
And you had the protesters out in Zuccotti Park. This was just the very beginning of the people starting to talk about the 99% versus
Rising
the
up.
1%.
Rising up. Yep.
And very similar circumstances to what we have today. In some ways worse, because back then YouTube didn't have the crazy, insane algorithms like we have today, but it was also kind of the beginning of people doing live streams from locations. And so we've come a decade now, and clearly the corporations and the people in power have started to learn how dangerous independent media can be to them. Otherwise, they wouldn't be trying to suppress us so badly.
The internet has changed a lot. It's opened up the world to a lot of people who didn't have a voice. You know, it's been said in the past that the only place people would have a voice is the public square. We really don't have as much of a public square anymore. The public square is the internet. And isn't it interesting how they're so anxious to suppress, censor, and tone police people on the internet, when it really is the only place that brings the whole world together, where you can discover, learn things that mainstream media is not going to share with you, not going to report to you, not be honest about.
And it's not even just the internet, though. I mean, they want to mute and stifle the actual public square too. You've probably seen it over the years. Every city, every mayor, every governor trying to stifle free speech by creating weird and restrictive time and place restrictions and making things much more difficult for people who basically just want to be heard. We're trying in our little corner of the internet to do it here on Chicago Corner. We know Hardlens is doing it on a national level, and we know there's a lot of allies out there in independent media also trying to do this to make sure that we still have some kind of voice and representation against all of the corporate noise out there. I know this isn't quite where we were starting with the stories we're going to be covering today, but a lot of this stuff is linked. It's some of it is just a matter of, people are fed up with their own situation. Some people have their personal lives have been turned upside down by any number of economic or health conditions, financial conditions, and a lot of this stuff is linked. So, and then Jerry, you've said it before. When our cities close down our mental health centers, when they cut off support for the communities, vital support systems that people need in order to have their to get through their daily lives, you're going to see some crazy stuff happen, and we have been seeing that to a huge degree.
Yeah. Well, the thing that finally pushed me over the edge was this first story. For many who live in Chicago, tourists, Joseph Cremelis is a homeless man who resides downtown, is kind of a local legend, everybody knows him. He's this very gentle, very stoic older gentleman who's homeless, and he's I guess been nicknamed the Walking Man because he would always dress in a nice suit, walk along downtown along the Michigan Avenue Bridge, that neighborhood, probably Lower Wacker people would know, and see him walking through the city. Some piece of shit, this piece of shit decided he was going to pour an accelerant on Mr. Cremelis and set him on fire while he was sleeping. This comes to us from the Block Club Chicago staff. Walking man set on fire in River North, likely to die, reports say. A man in a black and white hood-rich jacket is being sought in the attack on Joseph Cremelis, who gained local fame by constantly walking downtown streets. The famed walking man, who treks the streets of downtown with flowing gray hair and a steady stride, is in critical condition with severe burns over much of his body after someone doused him with flammable liquid and set him on fire in River North. Joseph Cremelis, 75, suffered burns over 65% of his body and was taken to Northwestern Memorial Hospital following the 2:50 a.m. Wednesday attack in the 400 block of Lower North Wabash Avenue. Hang on a second, guys. I hate to have this image up, but everybody needs to let this burn into their brains and pass it around in the hopes that somebody knows or who this cockroach is. The Wednesday attack in the 400 block of Lower North Wabash Avenue, where Cremelis was laying on the ground, officials said. A police source told the Sun-Times that we were just told he's most likely to die. The man attacked him and ran off. A nearby security guard used a fire extinguisher to put out the fire and help the victim, police said. He was identified through the medications he was carrying, the Sun-Times said. Police said the attacker fled to the CTA Blue Line, where surveillance videos captured images of him. Authorities said he wore a black and white hoodrich jacket with a hood and gray sandals. He's described as a tall man with medium light complexion. Kremelis is well known to downtown regulars. For decades, he's walked the streets in suits with his signature mustache and long hair. He's been the subject of countless photos of people who recognize him. He was in the news in 2016. This is not the first time, guys. It's not the first time. He was in the news in 2016 when he was attacked on Lower Wacker Drive. Police said someone with a baseball bat attacked him, leaving him hospitalized in serious condition. Here's some video from that documentary that was done on him.
Can we get a widescreen?
I'm sorry?
No, it's fine.
Okay. So I read this story. Kira shared it on Slack a few days ago. I didn't have a chance to look at it carefully until the other night. I really wish we could also hunt down this sex bot in our live chat. I've blocked them, and it doesn't seem to block them. Somehow they keep coming back.
I got the second one.
All right. So here's where I come to this, guys. Hundreds, if not thousands, of blue light cameras on every fucking corner in this city. Surveillance cameras in every CTA station, every train station, and this is the best that they could do. Isn't it always interesting how our red light cameras never fail in nailing people to gain more revenue to line the pockets of all the fat, slimy fat cats and cronies across the city to take care of things, and while we're continually still told we're broke, we have no money for things. Red light cameras work without fail. Blue light cameras don't. This is all we got. This is from the CTA station. Now, unless the police are holding information to themselves as to not clue this piece of shit in, that they know where he's at, that they even know that this is the guy in these photos from this particular blue line station. I want to know why these blue light cameras are not more effective in finding people like this. And this is something I kind of intimated before the show, Ed, that I want to add to the pledge of our list of demands for our mayoral candidates. We want every fucking red light camera on every corner in the city converted into a crime camera. They're there. They work. Let's add them to the blue light cameras. Let's start adding that network instead of ripping people off. Also, in the most struggling neighborhoods in the city, as we know, those red light and traffic cameras proliferate more of the south and west sides, where people have literally lost their cars because of the tickets that they can't pay. Because we had Rahm Emanuel throw these things in, and then we had Lori Lightfoot, who said she was going to get rid of them, decide to lower the tier on the speed level so she could start racking in more ticket revenue. We want those cameras converted to because if they work where the blue cameras don't, what fucking good are the blue cameras? Thank you, Ed. Thank you. And repurpose them. Okay? And
because we're not using them as red light cameras anymore.
No. That's fucking enough. And I'll tell you something else, guys. The city of Chicago should be offering a reward to find this guy. The police department should be offering a reward to turn a dime on this guy.
They should have him by now. What the hell are they waiting for?
I've committed personally myself $1,000 reward. It's coming out of my money. It's not Hard Lens Media. It's not Chicago Corner. It's me. I will put up $1,000 if somebody who knows this guy turns a dime on him and it leads to an arrest that leads to a conviction, so long as it is the man who probably killed Mr. Cormelis. I've had it. I can't go out there and find this guy. We can't. But if this $1,000, and look, I know not a lot of people watch this show. Okay, let's be honest. I know we've got a small viewership, but if by some miracle, and I'm going to subclip this segment to put on during the week, by some miracle, all of you good people in the live chat, share this link. I've already got it up on Twitter. I've been sharing it in Reddit. I've been spreading around social media. $1,000 reward to anybody who turns this piece of shit in. I feel helpless that I can't do more, that I don't have more money to offer. But if my offering for a reward might miraculously lead to this guy getting pinched and convicted and thrown in jail, because you know what? This isn't the first time he's done something like this. He had an accelerant with him. This was premeditated. That anybody walks around with what? Lighter fluid in their backpack with his little hoodie outfit and decides he's going to douse a homeless person and set them on fire. This guy is a threat to everybody, not just homeless people. And let me also say, for the city to not prioritize helping the most vulnerable of our population, homeless people across the city, along with what they're not doing in neighborhoods on the south and west sides with kids that are lured by gangs because they don't want to invest in these communities, because they don't want to reopen mental health clinics, because they don't want to reopen schools that they've shut down or provide opportunities for people. This is a fucking crisis. And enough is enough. We're going to get to Lightfoot in a little while, but the fact that they rammed down this fucking casino down everybody's throats with some other very, very questionable circumstances surrounding it that we're going to talk about, while they're ignoring they got money for the casino. They don't have money for the homeless to help the homeless people. They got money to invest in all these new buildings downtown. They don't have any money to invest in the empty buildings and providing housing for people. This should not have happened to this man. I don't want to filibuster. I'm so angry about this to my core that the police don't have anything on this guy, and that it's up to like vigilant people who might know someone to share the picture of this guy if he is indeed the assailant. And if the police were willing to release this picture, hopefully the police are on track that this is the guy who did it.
I like to add into this, Jerry. No, you're absolutely right. You're entitled to be enraged, as we all should. Now, for our viewing audience, I take a lot of pride in Chicago. This is my home. I love this city. I truly do. We are sometimes called the second city, the city of broad shoulders, the windy city. No, we're not the Big Apple. No, we're not the city of angels. We're not the Magic City. No disrespect to our people from New York City, Los Angeles, or Miami. This is Chicago. It's a Midwestern city that has its own fair share of ups and downs. The people have been pushed around, but we haven't been kicked out yet. They're trying to gentrify us out of our neighborhoods, north, south, and west, but we're still hanging in strong. This city is known for its courage and strength, not by our politicians. The hell with our politicians. It's the people that make Chicago. It's not the businesses that make Chicago. It's the people. It's not the baseball teams or the sports teams or anything like that that make Chicago. It's the people. It's not the buildings either. And I love the buildings. It's not the buildings either. It's the people. Chicago is number one because the Chicago way is that we don't back down. We never go anywhere. We're not leaving. We're staying right where we're at. No matter who's running the city, they might think that they're the top shit, but they ain't. It's the average person in the city. No matter what their color, creed, religion, generation, doesn't matter. It's the people that are the beating heart, soul of this city. One of those people was the Wandering Man. Yes, an icon. Documentaries are done on him. What's his deal? Ideally, I want him to recover, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. But he's one of us. He's one of the people.
Yes, that's so well said, Kit.
So
he represents what Chicago's about. Resilience. The poor man's homeless, and he still. No one should make the best of those circumstances, but he does. And this sociopath over here, we want this guy found.
Right, and I want to add on to this. There's other people like the Wandering Man in this city. We got to help each other out. And the only way we're going to get through this is not through the politicians, not through the establishment media. It's through us working together and finding this monster. Now, something's wrong with this monster. This person's mentally ill. They need to be held accountable with the full extent of the law. But this is evidence enough that we have to invest into mental health. We have to invest into our cities. We have to use the TIF funds to invest in city programs, social programs, getting young people out of horrifying domestic situations so they don't turn into something like this or worse. We as Chicagoans have to come together because I believe that this city is filled with good people. And it ain't the end. And if it's the end, no one told me. No one gave me that memo. We as Chicagoans got to say no more. This goes out to everyone, no matter what neighborhood you in. They might have hyper-segregated us, but that doesn't mean we have to abide by these goddamn rules.
Got to come together.
We got to work together. 2023 is going to be our next city election. We got to vote out these heartless politicians. We got to make sure we get rid of Lightfoot, but we got to make sure whoever's running the city that we elect are going to work for us. Not the other way around. Those days are done. I don't know who put it in our minds that, oh, we got to accept this, because that ain't the case. You see, there's a thing called the Chicago way. You know? And look, I don't want to play that scene because it might be a little funny.
I'm not playing any funny clips tonight. This is too the brevity of what we have to talk about tonight with all these stories.
What I want to say is, you start fucking with the people to get to the end point, you might end yourself up in the morgue. Because here's the thing to the establishment running this city: you had your fun, you decided to shit around. We're tired of it. So as Chicagoans, let's come together. There's no excuse for inaction. There's no excuse for us sitting down, because the wandering man,
Walking Man.
He was us, the walking man. Sorry. The walking man, he was one of us. All right. What if that was somebody else? What if that was a kid? What if that was another senior citizen? What if that was a woman? What if it was a pregnant woman? What if it was someone who was crippled? What? Look, enough Chicagoans. We know who we are. Let's fight for this city. This is our home, our city, our home. Cry it out from the rooftops. We got to take action now.
And along that line, we are taking action here at Chicago Corner. Some of you may have tuned in on Tuesday, where we unveiled a draft pledge that we are developing called the 2023 Chicago Mayoral Pledge to the City, also known as the North to South and East to West Pledge. You can get some of the initial details that we lined up on Tuesday from Tuesday's live stream. But as you will be watching going forward, we're revising it. We're adding new things to it, and we want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Because
live chatter on our social media, which you want to see added. This is a list of demands as well as a pledge. And when I say we, it's me, Ed, Kit, Kira, and anybody else at Hardlands Media that wants to join us. We are going to go down to City Council during one of their open forums where they allow citizens to speak. And we're all going to have a specific amount of time that they're going to cut us off. And what's going to happen is they're going to cut me off. Ed's going to step in and continue the list of demands. They're going to cut Ed off. Kira's going to step in and continue the list of demands. So these demands can be heard. This is what the citizens of Chicago demand. It's what they deserve. And enough is fucking enough.
Yeah. And the basic premise, or the basic pledge, is, as a candidate for mayor of City Chicago, will you pledge to support all of the citizens of Chicago, north to south and east to west? And of course, we have details as to what we define as supporting the citizens of Chicago, but clearly one of those parts is going to be supporting those of us with the least, not just those of us with the most. And so clearly the city has failed Walking Man. And they need to, at the very least, catch this piece of garbage.
Yeah. I mean, I can't censor myself anymore. It's just my head will explode. But I admire the fact that you can temper yourself.
And we need to make sure that the rest of the city is not only safe but supported in a way that the citizens deserve. And so you can't just run for mayor and expect to just get our vote because you're not the other guy. You got to work for us. That's your job, and we're going to tell you what we need.
It goes to their head immediately once they step into that fifth floor, Ed. Rahm Emanuel, Lori Lightfoot, who we actually thought might be a progressive because that's what she claimed she was. She was going to be the reformer. She's Rahm 2.0, 1 inch shorter.
Well, we got news for the machine. You're all rusty. You're running out of parts. There's a supply chain shortage, and your game is over.
Well, as I said, guys, $1,000 reward to the person who brings this guy, leads the police to this guy. Spread it around. Share it on your social media. When I subclip this segment, it'll be on our YouTube channel. Please make sure to spread it around because I want this guy. I want this guy in custody. I want to see him charged. I want to see him held accountable. I want to see him thrown in jail for as long as they can keep him there. So, moving into other news, let me get my screen ready here to the next story. Speaking of other horrible circumstances that we've had to witness this week, thankfully, aside from what this poor gentleman suffered downtown, we haven't suffered losses like this yet in regards to what happened down in Texas, which the blame game is already getting tossed around to avert responsibility. This was reported, right on the heels of what happened. And this comes to us by Kelly Bauer from Block Club Chicago. Illinois leaders slam Texas Governor Abbott for invoking Chicago crime after 19 kids slain in grade school. So, let's get this straight. This fucking governor in Texas has got a disaster in his backyard. It's a crisis of we can't even express the magnitude. And what's his decision and how to handle it? The accountability, the response time. Oh, point at Chicago and our crime rate. I mean, look, Chicago ain't perfect. We know that. We just listed all the reasons why it's not and what needs to change. But as the article goes on to say, the tactic trying to deflect from a mass shooting or scandal by referencing Chicago is one that's been repeatedly used by high-level Republicans in recent years. Fair point. Chicagoans slammed Texas's governor on Wednesday for trying to deflect attention towards Chicago's violence after a mass shooting in his state left 19 children dead in a school. Doesn't condone the inaction here, but let's continue. Texas Governor Greg Abbott held a news conference Wednesday to talk about how a gunman killed 19 children and 2 adults at a school in Uvalde, Texas. Am I pronouncing that right, Uvalde?
Sounds right.
I think so. I think I said it wrong on the show, so I'm going to go with you.
Hopefully, I pronounce it right.
That's a town. It's a city I haven't heard before today or yesterday. So
the gunman had recently legally purchased 2 AR-15s. And this was this guy I think was underage, wasn't he? Well, I don't know, 18, 19?
I think he was 18.
18. 2 AR. Who needs a fucking AR-15 to hunt deer in Texas?
Nobody needs an AR-15.
Anywhere.
Period. No one needs one of those.
Gentlemen. So, as someone who served in the Marine Corps for 4 years, I had the equivalent of the AR-15, which is the M16A2, M16A4, and the M4 carbine. It fires a 5.562 round. Now, that round is designed for combat. That weapon is designed for combat. There is semi and then automatic. This is a weapon that is designed to engage in firefights and in war zones. It's not a hunter's weapon. It's the last choice to have as a hunter's weapon. It is not something that you use for hunting. It is designed for military combat and urban combat only. So, no one, in my mind, a civilian, should have access to these kind of firearms, especially the equivalent of the AR-15, because, again, it is a weapon that's designed for military combat and military combat only. this weapon is designed to hurt and kill people. Now, for those of you who may not be familiar with what the rounds of a 5.56 round can do, when it goes inside your body, it's not a straight shot. It ricochets inside you. It will ricochet inside you. So that means if you get shot in the stomach, it's going to ricochet inside your insides, or wherever else it will hit inside. Now, hopefully, maybe you get in the arm, and that's as far as it'll go. But that weapon is designed to kill a human being. It's designed to suppress an enemy combatant.
Who's also armed.
Yeah. So the thing is, that person shoots back. So at the end of the day, I don't know why Americans have access to this. I have my opinions on the Second Amendment. Now, obviously, in this country, it's going to be impossible to ban all firearms because firearms outnumber the people now at this point. I mean, it's there. But, there's a thing called mental health. We need to invest into that. And also maybe putting in regulations in which it'll be hard to get these kind of weapons, perhaps taxi ammunition. But I also want to add to this, too, especially to that jagoff Texas governor. So you said gun laws don't work in Chicago and in Illinois. Oh, okay. Very interesting point. Now, the thing is, they do work. It's just we have neighboring states that have very laissez-faire views on gun control. So that means the thing is, somebody from Chicago, if they're a criminal or somebody who is mentally unstable or someone who is just really aggressive and might one day snap, what's stopping them to go to Wisconsin or Indiana, particularly Indiana, from buying these dangerous firearms and then bring them right back to Chicago and Illinois? I mean, there's nothing stopping them. And look, hey, let's face it, in this country, we have such favoritism towards firearms. But I'm just saying, we have other states that have very different laws on that. So before the Texas governor decides to open his freaking mouth about our city, I think you should look at the greater environment altogether. And to quote Stephen Kerr, who was the coach of the California, I already messed up the basketball team. Apologies for that. But he just asked, hey, when's enough is enough?
Yeah, Ilhanar brings up the thing I was about to say. Want to know why mass shootings are a thing now? We let the assault weapons ban lapse. That's absolutely correct. See, that's the problem with local gun restrictions, is that they are localized. And a national assault weapons ban, which probably would have banned the AR-15, people can correct me if that wasn't the case, would probably have reduced or nearly eliminated all the school shootings that we've seen in the last couple decades.
Thank you, President Bush.
This is, it's a no-brainer there. I mean, you can still have your First Amendment. You can still have the right to bear arms without needing to have a weapon meant for war.
I have no problem. Everybody thinks I'm like Mr. Leftist liberal. I'm against guns. I don't like guns. I hate guns. Okay. But I'm not going to deny a homeowner the right, if they choose and if they pass a background check and if they're properly licensed and trained, to have a handgun or a rifle in their home. That's all they need. All this bullshit about, well, we have to stand up to the government. That's why we have a right to the AR-15s and everything else. They will use a drone bomb to take you out like they did at Waco. Well, they didn't use a drone at Waco, but trust me, everybody who's all for the assault weapons ain't going to help you when you've got the military coming down your door, or the police department with all their militarized tanks and weapons that have been shipped back over here for their use that are no longer used in our wars in other countries. Okay, that's just bullshit. You want to have a weapon to protect yourself in your home in case you're burglarized or someone breaks in, fine. You want a handgun? Get licensed, get trained, pass a background check. But this militarized weapon crap, as Kit just said a moment ago, enough is enough.
I just always come to the point of, what happened to well-regulated militia, Why is it that now people are just saying, well, I should be able to have a gun but not have any responsibility to actually knowing how to fire it, how to properly maintain it, how to use it properly, and when to not use it.
They very conveniently forget that well-regulated militia clause.
And they go out of their way to try and legalize their way around that.
Yeah.
In fact, I think Ted Cruz was involved in
Oh,
that.
how does Ted Cruz stand up without a spine? I just don't understand it. The guy is a fucking jellyfish who just be on the ground like slime, slithering around.
Yeah, what
It's some kind of hydraulic spring-based system.
It's cartilage. It's cartilage, so it's not necessarily bone. But when when he passes away, it'll wither away. So it kind of looks like he's standing on his own, but he's all cartilage. That's all he is.
Did you guys see the video of him running away from the hard questions of interviewers from Sky News this week?
Well, yeah, because he kept trying to use the same old platitude responses that they've been using for decades, just because, like, they must have got some outdated talking point cards from the NRA or something.
So Ilnar is saying, I live in Arizona and I like to hunt. I don't need an assault weapon to take down a deer. Yep. See, that's the thing. Yep. An AR-15, M16A2, M16A4, M4 carbine, they're not designed to hunt animals. They're designed to kill people.
And where's the sport in that? You know, there's got to be some kind of skill to hunting with a rifle, or know.
And if you need to hunt for food, the whole point of sport hunting, let's just go out and kill a deer and stick their head on our wall. Are you going to eat the meat? Is there actually a need for this? A lot of people who hunt for sport with animals, it's more about the sport of killing something than about the actual necessity of sustaining themselves with meat.
Yeah. See, the thing is, if I was to hunt, I would hunt something just so I could say, hey, I hunted this, cook up a nice barbecue, do that kind of stuff, right? But see, the thing is, when am I going to do that? Probably never, right? Probably never in my lifetime. But if I were to do something like that, maybe make a special treat, I don't know, whenever the fuck I would. It's just like, when is that going to happen? Probably never. But the point is, you're going to go hunting. An AR-15 is the last thing you want to use, because guess what? When you shoot that round in a deer, that round will ricochet inside the deer and screw up the insides and taint the meat. Because when you puncture the stomach or the guts, it's going to taint the meat, and then that's not edible for people. So why would you need an AR-15 for hunting or sports? Like, no. And before anyone else says self-defense, it's the thing is, when you shoot a round from an AR-15 or M16A2, A4, M4 carbine, that round will continue on until it hits its target. And those rounds go for very long miles. Okay? They won't stop until they hit something. Those weapons are designed for long pacification and, again, urban conflict and suppressing enemy combatants that will fire back at you. The American civilian doesn't need that.
I have mixed feelings about the rest of this article, and I just want to preface with saying, they're talking about how the Republicans turn this against Democrats in violent cities. I'm not by any means defending the Democrats, because I think they're as spineless. Biden could do things he's not going to. They're just as bad. But you know what? Before we all started setting our sights on the faux Democrats, the neoliberal Republican light Democrats, I was very, very vocal against the Republicans, and I'm going to be in the rest of this segment also, because Abbott turning his attention towards Chicago and its gun laws during his remarks, he said, I hate to say this, there are more people that are shot every weekend in Chicago than there are in schools in Texas. Like that's something to shift attention to that has nothing to do with what happened in Texas under his watch, said Abbott, a Republican running for re-election. If you're looking for a real solution, Chicago teaches that what you're talking about is not a real solution. The tactic invoking Chicago, a Democratic stronghold, to try to deflect from a mass shooting or scandal is one that's been repeatedly used by high-level Republicans in recent years. It's also one that Chicagoans are sick of. Governor Abbott, instead of coming after my city, take a moment to think about how you can stop this carnage, tweeted Mayor Lori Lightfoot, a Democrat. I work day and night to stop the violence. Yeah, well, do you? I see the suffering. Open your eyes. Lives are being lost. Be a part of the solution or get the hell out of the way. She's politicizing it now, too. Right?
Yeah, we're always going to have a little bit of kayfabe between red and blue in these stories now, and when you learn to see it, you can't unsee it anymore when you start following news. The reality, ladies and gentlemen, is that Team Blue and Team Red are working together.
Yep.
One of them, as many of us have pointed out, is like the Harlem Globetrotters, and the other one is like the Washington Generals, and they're basically designated to be an opponent who can just come out and have a preloaded soundbite to go up against what the other one's preloaded soundbite is, and then they just keep going around and around in a circle and nothing gets done. When you have the just one more thing, as far as the school shootings goes, the other thing that they constantly throw about, especially from Team Red, is the need for mental health facilities and stuff. And these hypocrites typically have just recently, shut down or reduced the amount of mental health support that their government had would have funded. And of course, that's not just a red specific. I mean, we know that the Dems do this too. It's pretty pathetic on how much social services that people are getting cut because either they're politically afraid of the word social in any program, or they're just, they just want to pretend like they're fiscally responsible in the worst possible way.
Other local officials criticized Abbott as well. And there's a reason I'm leading with the Block Club Chicago article, because we're going to go into just seeing why Governor Abbott is throwing misdirection elsewhere. Okay. Appalling that the governor of a state where such a horrific tragedy occurred would spend his time today deflecting. State Attorney General Mayoral wrote on Twitter, "We are outraged by daily gun violence in Chicago, and we are outraged at the innocent lives lost in Uvalde. We can do something about both." That's a fair statement from Kwame. Representative Marie Newman, a Democrat representing parts of Chicago, slammed Abbott and called for tougher gun laws nationally in the wake of the shooting. Abbott doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, Newman wrote on Twitter. The majority of illegal firearms recovered in Chicago come from out-of-state dealers in red states like Indiana or Wisconsin. So let's talk about how the brilliant law enforcement division in Texas handled this. Parents were standing by, frantic, because the cops weren't doing anything. This comes from the Daily Mail. This comes from across the pond, everybody, in the UK. This particular coverage. Let's rush in because cops aren't doing anything. Parents frustrated with unprepared police outside Texas Massacre School debated storming the building themselves while gunmen were holed up inside for 90 minutes. Footage has emerged showing the panic-stricken parents of the Texas school children screaming at law enforcement to enter the school. It was unclear whether the footage was shot during the shooting or after the event when the gunman was already dead. Questions are being asked as to why it took 90 minutes between the first 9/11 call and the gunman being shot dead. It also emerged on Wednesday night that the authorities had to find a key to get inside the room where the gunman was barricaded with the children.
Really? A key?
Like
they can kick every other door down that they possibly wanted to do, but now they got to hunt for a key.
Yeah. Actually, there was a video that also brought some really serious questions to what went down, and that there's like 90 minutes of audio recordings that were missing from the transcripts. Those have disappeared. Now, here's a video that came out, and this is specifically related to the fact that apparently it's being reported that the cops who got there, who had children in the school, they went in and got their children and got them out. And then they stood around for the rest of the 90 minutes, not doing anything. Let's check this interview.
Also heard word that Border Patrol agent was struck with gunfire, a few officers shot. We've heard that some law enforcement officers actually went into school to get their kids out. Can you talk about that?
Right, so we do know, Vanessa, right now that there was some police officers, families trying to get their children out of school because it was an active shooter situation right now. It's a terrible situation right now. And of course, just as we mentioned, the loss of life, it's just terrible. It's a terrible tragedy right now that took place. But again, we got to keep acknowledging those brave men and women that actually were there on scene, that met this suspect. We know that they were met with gunfire. Some of them were shot. But at the end of this, the suspect was shot and is now deceased. The threat is now...
They got their kids out and did nothing about the rest. Another article from Daily Mail UK.
You can also see Kit talk about this from earlier today on Hardlands Media. After the
police-
show, you can go and see what Kit had to say at length.
The police were doing nothing. But what they were able to do was pepper spray, handcuff parents who urged them to storm the school. That's where their priority was. Guys,
Yeah, it's
here's what it comes down to. What fucking good are they? When we hear these reports out of Uvalde.
You know what? I want to make a real action movie again, like where we're like this time it's not the police being gung ho, it's them being cowards. Because in the 80s and 90s, you all saw these action movies where you had your Sylvester Stallone or who else was like a cop, like Bad Boys.
No, Gibson, John or Bruce Willis. You can't make cop movies today because of how so many cops today have ruined, and they don't live up to what the privilege of service is about.
Yeah.
Cops used to be heroic. So much has come out to show those that aren't. They've ruined it.
They never were.
Okay, they never were. It was all fantasy.
Ever were. It's like a fantasy. It's like the thing is, Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, Bigfoot, a heroic cop. It's like that scene from Chasing Amy, where they're talking about, hey, there's a lesbian who only likes to have sex with guys, Santa Claus, Bigfoot, a leprechaun, a heroic cop. You know what these all things have in common? They don't fucking exist.
It just blows me away. They're pepper spraying and handcuffing the parents. Frantic parents urged armed officers to charge into school and stop the gunman. Instead, the officers handcuffed and restrained some of the parents. After getting their own kids out, remember. Angeli Rose Gomez said she was handcuffed by police, but when she was released, she jumped a fence and retrieved her kids herself. Angela Garza, whose daughter was killed, was handcuffed after trying to run into the school when he heard that a girl named Amory had been shot. He later found out that she was among those who died. Uvalde police are fucking useless. And this Governor Abbott to start pointing at Chicago and everywhere else because he can't manage his own backyard. These cops who are so special, so privileged, the most important thing for them is to go home at night, safe, that when they're at an active shooting situation with little kids in a school, they're too fucking yellow-bellied to go in and take the guy out sooner while they sit outside for 90 minutes and do fucking nothing. They gotta be fired. They gotta be investigated. What else is there to say? It's like we're constantly respect authority. Don't stand up to authority. These parents were like, "Get the fuck in there and get our kids out." And what was their response? No, get back, or we're going to handcuff you. We're going to pepper spray you. We know how to handle this at the expense of kids' lives.
So I just want to point out, Jerry, it's more than that. Not only should these cops be fired, no pensions, never again to work in law enforcement.
Absolutely.
They should lose everything, and the entire law enforcement in that city should be rebuilt up from the ground up. I'm talking about everyone from the chain of command fired immediately. AG asks, "Where's Dirty Harry?" See, Dirty Harry's killing innocent people. See, the real thing about Dirty Harry is that he's just a
wish fulfillment. It was wish fulfillment.
Yeah, it was wish fulfillment. It was also a response towards it was a conservative response to liberalism and also to the hippie movement. But the thing is, Dirty Harry will kill you. Dirty Harry doesn't like you. He doesn't like anybody. He'll shoot everybody and anything. And I remember that sequel to Dirty Harry 2 where they tried to make him look heroic against those bad cops. Remember those cops that were shooting people?
Magnum Force.
Yeah. And it was like somebody like Dirty Harry makes more fucking psychotic motherfuckers like that.
Yeah, Dirty Harry's right about the hot dogs, though.
It was wishment. Good guys fighting bad guys, keeping people safe. If only it were that simple. If only it were that simple.
Yeah, the thing is, like, looking at those cops, so they covered it on Hardlands Media. They had 1 hour. There was an hour. Okay, so an hour before they got involved. You're not going to look at me like I don't care if you're a Blue Lives Matter person or you're a cop person or anything else like that. You can't look me in the eye and tell me that the cops on scene couldn't have done something in that hour. I don't care about procedures or tactics. You had one shooter in there. You had X amount of cops that could have done something and do something in an hour. Don't give me that. I served 4 years in the Marine Corps. You're not going to tell me in a tense situation they couldn't come up with a quick plan to go in there. Yes, definitely make sure that the parents are in that area, but they'd be like, okay, there's like 10 of us here, or 8 of us here, or hell, there's 5 of us here. Let's go ahead, coordinate the area up, tell people to stay the fuck back. Let's go inside that building, take out that lone guy out, and do everything we can. Don't give me that excuse that they couldn't do something.
They feared for their lives, Kit. Kit, they feared for their lives. And Kathy brings up,
of course,
points in the chat. They had no problem kicking down the door at a residence with Anjanette Young, so long as they knew that there was nobody behind that door. Well, they may not have known if she was armed or someone in the apartment was armed. But let's get past they had to go find a fucking key to get in that school.
Well, let's also get past this whole them fearing for their lives thing.
Right.
You don't see firemen
go I love that
and say that they're I can't go and put out a fire in this house or on this building because I might get burned. You don't become a fireman if you're afraid of fire. You don't become a policeman if you're not going to protect people. That's the point of being a cop. You don't become a cop just so you can be a bully who waves around a gun and have authority over other people with qualified immunity. That if that's the only reason why you want to be a cop, resign. Get another job. Do something else.
I know that they need more garbage collectors.
It's interesting to point out too, firefighters, they have to go inside a burning building. They have to do that. That's their job. They have to go inside a burning building and get the people out of the fire. I've never once heard of a firefighter be like, I don't want to go in there. I'm going to get burned. That's really hot in there. I've never heard of a firefighter say that. Never in my entire life. I wish we could go inside that burning school, but, it's really hot in there. It's really scary. So, hey, blue lives matter. What's your fucking excuse now? Because those cops were attacked. They had military gear on. They had their body armor. They need to wait for backup. What's your fucking excuse? By the way, just to really piss off all these diehard cop defenders, never once has a cop stopped the shooter, especially when it was happening early on. No. Does that offend you? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you saw the
my all-time favorite meme, guys. My all-time favorite meme. If we can hide the comment here. Wait, why can't I hide the comment that's up? Ryan Clark. Sorry. Here it is. There's the meme. Both these men knew the dangers associated with their career choice, but only one of these men uses the excuse, I feared for my life.
I just want to add on a note too. Like, when I see the firefighters, so occasionally, like during the spring and summer, I see a couple of fire department houses, like, they have like their helmet, they do like a charity thing. They're like, they have the fire truck out on the street and they're asking like for donations. I always stop and give a donation to those guys.
They're the heroes. They run into danger. They don't think twice of getting their bodies burned into a crisp, like cops who are outfitted with body armor, bulletproof vests, more weapons than potentially the person that they're going in to stop might have. All the training in the world, all the support, numbers of other officers around them, but they still fear for their lives, shooting people in the back. Yep, the Texas cops. What the fuck good are they? The Lone Star State, where they love their guns down there. They love their guns, except when they got to stand up against the maniacs who shouldn't have them.
Yeah, and once again, sure, you may not be legally required to risk your lives as a police officer, but the reality is, why are you a cop then? Why wouldn't that be hardwired into you that you want to be a police officer so you can serve and protect, regardless of your legal responsibility?
AG, yeah. Imagine if nurses had the same attitude with COVID.
Yep.
Oh, all right. Here's an interesting comment from Ilhan. My grandfather served during World War II, and he hated when people thanked him for his service. My grandfather said, I got paid to kill Nazis. And that was probably your grandfather's privilege. All right. Let's go into our next story. It's Groundhog Day, guys. From Block Club Chicago. I know you watched this, Ed, and I also put together a super cut of what everyone else may have missed with the shouting match between Lightweight and our own good Alderman Byron Sigjo Lopez. But from Block Club Chicago, after a heated vote, the $1.7 billion casino plan for the Tribune publishing site now goes to the state's gaming board for final approval. Here's what it will look like. We know it's going to get approved. Let me share the video. And this is a video that you know how I like to editorialize my videos, so pay close attention, everyone.
Enough of discrimination.
You are a liar, sir.
Right. Sorry, wasn't queued up. I got to take it to the beginning. All right, here we go.
I think Alderman Hopkins, in detail, has described a failed process. A process that benefits the casino operator at the expense of the rest of the city. I think as legislators, we have the responsibility to review this process. A failed process. And an administration that is more worried about campaign contributions than doing the right thing for the city of Chicago.
You are out of order. You are out of order.
Out of order,
and you are a liar. You are a liar, sir, and you are out of order. I sit here and I will not tolerate you besmirching the hard work of so many people who have worked in this. You may not agree. You may not agree, then vote no. But I will not sit here silently while you besmirch my reputation and the people that work for me from your pettiness of the things that you're trying to do that expose this city to liability, sir. You are out of order. Now you can express your comments and your views, but you will not tear down the integrity of people who are working just as hard as you are. That is absolutely unacceptable.
It is unacceptable to deny the right of answers to a community. Where would we address the issue of predatory practices of casino operators? We asked for a plan, Mayor Lightfoot, a plan to address that issue. That's what we need to hear from you. Not a plan that is going to be discussed after the fact.
You are out of order and you are lying. Almost every word that comes out of your mouth after you say your name is a lie.
You're out of order. You're out of order. They're out of order. That man.
You need to stop, sir.
I'm not stopping because I have the right to speak.
That
I
was a
enough of
double
discrimination.
besmirching.
You are a liar,
I have the right
sir.
to speak as any other colleague. Enough is enough.
Yeah,
We
enough
gotta respect each
enough
other
is
here,
enough.
but we're gonna
Please
talk about the facts.
cease and
Everything I
desist.
said here is a fact.
Please cease and desist.
This is such a crock of shit. Out of order. I show you out of order. You don't know what out of order is. If I were the man I was 5 years ago, I'd take a flamethrower to this place. Out of order. Who the hell do you think you're talking to? I've been around, you know.
It's Jerry's wish fulfillment.
Thank you for that.
You know
Jerry.
what? I gotta say again, I want to say this. Hardlands Media interviewed Byron many years ago.
Allie did. And Allie had him on the show, Allie Alexandra, last year before I came on to help out with things. And that's still in the archives over. I'd like to have him on again. I'm going to reach out to him when the time is right to speak about something topical.
For Chicago Corner Can TV, yeah, let's see if we can get him on there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
Good points.
I mean, we know that this casino thing has been rushed through for who knows why. There has to be a handful of reasons. It probably has to do with money and timing. If I had to guess, is that the mayor's seeing this as a reason? Whatever they push through fast enough is going to be some stopgap measure for some city budget thing. I'm just curious what exactly it is going to be that's causing them to push this stuff through so quickly. without, I mean, and so Byron, he has a point. It's like this, why are they not going through and make sure that the city's not going to get screwed out of this deal?
Here's why.
You don't know
here's why. Here's why.
Yeah, you got that law firm.
Okay, the corruption, the fix was in. Now, I went to Illinois Sunshine, which is a great website if you ever want to try to connect the dots to find out who's contributing to who. And this is where I discovered that this law firm, Taft, Stetness, and Hollister LLP, donated $1,000 to Tom Tooney's campaign earlier this year. And Tom Tooney was the lead alderman on Lightfoot's casino committee campaign. Now, I was really hoping I would see if I could find a connection on Illinois Sunshine if they had funded her campaign, but that did not manifest. But it was very interesting to me how many aldermen in the city of Chicago this law firm is donated to that, also voted yes for this proposition. And let me quickly go into that article so we can talk about that a little more, because the argument between Sigcho Lopez, or the blowout between Sigcho Lopez and Lightfoot, when she's saying he's a liar and nothing he's saying is true, and she's talking about all the good people in her committee and on her staff, and he's besmirching the reputation of everybody. Really? This comes from Greg Hins over at Crane Chicago Business. The law firm that advised Lightfoot on casino process also represented the winning bidder. And let me also share with everybody, you can't find this story reported by any other news organizations in the city. It's behind a paywall at Crane's Chicago. But thankfully, to the good efforts of my friend Ed here, who found an archive site that can make something public so I can share it with the rest of you, we can get down to business and find out what this was all about. News of a dual role comes as the city council prepares to vote Wednesday on Lightfoot's recommendation. Now, this article came out before Wednesday, only on Crane Chicago Business behind the paywall. No other news organizations in the city reported on this. What the article shares: the law firm that played a key role in advising the Lightfoot administration in Chicago's casino competition is being paid by the firm that won the prize. State documents indicate that Taft, Stettenhouse, and Hollister, Stettinius and Hollister, generally known as Taft Law, is the attorney of record for Bally's Quad Cities Casinos and Hotel in Rock Island. Taft gaming law partner Paul Jensen is listed on a May 1st disclosure as representing the facility in matters coming before the Illinois Gaming Board, according to a document filed with the board and according to Board Director of Policy Joe Miller. I'm thinking, you know what I'm thinking, Kit, one of our favorite movies, Mr. Food and Beverage, Casino. All the nonsense that went on behind the scenes with the gaming board to push things through when everything was crooked and slimy. That's what's happening here. Everybody knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy. It was not clear when the firm's representation of Bally's began or whether it handled some of or all legal matters when Bally's acquired the Western Illinois facility, then known as Jumers, last year. But news of the dual role comes as the city council prepares to vote on Wednesday on Mayor Lori Lightfoot's recommendation that Bally's be selected to own and operate a $1.7 billion casino complex in River West on what is now Chicago Tribune printing plant property at Halsted, Chicago. Neither the city nor Cesar Sid Froelich, the Taft gaming law partner who worked on the Chicago bid for several months, had any comment. And why would they? Why would they go shoot themselves in the foot and reveal, yeah, we were double dipping? But one alderman who opposes the proposed location, Brian Hoppings II, had plenty to say, terming it outrageous that aldermen were not informed of what he termed a clear conflict of interest. So our lawyer was working for the winning applicant, said Hopkins. This is a typical insider deal in classic City Hall fashion. Taft's involvement has a certain resemblance to that of another top city consultant in the casino process, Union Gaming, whose analytics division's revenue projections the Lightfoot administration relied on to declare that Bally's was offering the city the best deal, even though another unit of the same company served as co-manager last year on a $696 million Bally's stock offering. City officials have not said whether they were aware of the connection. Of course they weren't aware of the connection. Come on. All that due diligence? No, there's no way they would have known that, but have asserted that such companies keep an iron wall between different divisions to avoid conflicts. Officials have insisted their only goal in selecting Bally's is to get the most money and other benefits for the city to help shore up cash-short city pension funds. But in fact, the city's own analysis of the final bid showed that another competitor, Rush Street Gaming, at the 78 site in the South Loop, promised more jobs than Bally's and potentially more tax revenue. So this law firm, the fix was in for them. And guys, make no mistake, this is going to bring more crime, more strife to our city. I really wonder if this thing is even going to be very well attended when it's open. We see this picture here of everybody going to the casino. I'm like, no, this is the parking meter deal all over again. Long-term ramifications.
I mean, at this point, it's like they're rushing it through so quickly. It's like it's kind of like, you know, what kind of deal would they have been able to do if they'd been taking their time? Like, say, like after the first year, the city and certain amount of revenue that comes in, that the city gets a percentage of the overall ownership toward the city, and that, you know, after a certain number of years, the city owns like 51% of the casino or something like that. You know, that kind of, you know, like maybe a progressive structure for a way that where the city actually benefits the longer that they have it, instead of setting up some one-time deal where it's just a straight percentage the whole time. We don't know what they could do or what they're going to do because they're rushing it through so quickly. Do we have any details?
No, just like and that's where it's like the parking meter deal. They're just ramming it through. This is what Sigcho Lopez was screaming about in city council. The mayor and her committee owed a responsibility to properly vet this stuff. Now, Ed, let's go to the article. City officials have not said whether they are aware of their connection, but have asserted that such companies keep an iron wall between different divisions to avoid conflicts. There was a 9:30 p.m. update that contradicts that statement. The mayor's office is out now with a statement. Here it is in full. Taft has only represented the city of Chicago in this transaction and has represented the city for over a decade on gaming matters. As is common industry practice, advisory firms enforce internal conflict policies by creating walls to protect against such conflicts, especially when engaged to create an RFP process because they do not know who may ultimately bid. Because of Taft's robust gaming practice, Taft divided its practice into two distinct groups many years ago to protect against these conflicts. One group works on government engagements, the other group does not. So she's blaming Taft when the city should have had its nose all over it, and that should have been disclosed to the city, despite the fact that they're passing the buck here with, well, Taft, you know, that's for them to maintain on the inside. How does it look? How do the optics look now that we found out that they've double dipped? In its representation of the city in its RFP process, the attorneys working on the city team did not work on the Bally's Quad Cities matter, but they're in the same firm. Lawyers that worked on the Bally's Quad Cities transaction did not work on the City of Chicago transaction, but they work in the same firm. They're all going to make a lot of money off of whatever they're doing for different clients where there's a clear conflict of interest. And we're a part of the group that does not work on government engagements. Go ahead, Kit.
Gentlemen, so I would like to add something into this video, but first I must mute myself because I got a video that caught my attention. So first, give me 2 minutes or 1 minute, seconds. I'm muting but I have to play this video out so that way I can make sure it's perfect. I'm going to put it in private chat. If it's all gives a thumbs up,
you got it.
It's related to the casino thing. Let's play it in its full entirety, but I got to mute it first, and then that way we'll talk.
No problem.
That's fine. We can jump into the chat for a minute too.
Yeah. Let me finish the last paragraph of the article. And clock's running, Kit. You just tell us when you're ready. And Ed, and we'll jump into the chat. Taft is a firm of almost 700 lawyers with nationwide gaming practice, having represented clients such as the states of New York, Michigan, Louisiana, and Maryland, as well as cities such as Detroit, Rockford, and Springfield, Massachusetts. Taft also represents several casino operators, sports wagering operators, and lenders and investors in gaming opportunities, including representing other proposed bidders or their affiliates on the Chicago casino. So fucking what, Mayor Lightfoot? For someone who's the control freak that we all know that she is, very easy to pass the buck here. Ed.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's jump in the chat here. We got a lot of people talking in the chat right now. Yeah, we got. I mean, Ilhanar says, "Get ready for more drug crimes. Casinos are notorious for it." Well, yeah. I mean, you're gonna. anytime you get like an entertainment complex like that, you're going to run the risk of that type of thing. You know, Eleanor says also casinos do a lot of money laundering. Well, yeah, we've seen a lot of those casino movies. We know what's possible. Yeah,
I can only imagine what the city of Chicago is going to be doing to make sure that they police the card counters at the blackjack tables. They're not going to want any of that. The house always wins. Chicago's going to cheat everybody else, but
gentlemen, hi.
Yes, go.
So I got a video. It's 1 minute 20 seconds. It's related to the story, Jerry.
Yeah.
I would like to put it in private chat. So
all right. So you want to share it with me so I can share it with the group? Open it up.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to put it in Slack because I mean I got it on my phone. You know,
okay.
So I'm kind of like in a little situation. So can I private message you on the Chicago Corner Slack?
Go right ahead. I've got it open.
All right. It's private message sent to you now. Now, this video, 1 minute 20 seconds long, was sent to me in a text message by Chicago's very own Jimmy Dore.
I can't wait.
Now, some of the videos will be segments, but it's a YouTube video which has 96,000 views on it. It's titled "She's Cracking." Jimmy Dore found it. He texted it to me. And
yeah, Jimmy.
Not trusted women like this.
All right, let's let the commercial go. So Jimmy, so Jimmy is monitoring what's going on over here?
Well, right now he knows a little bit. I've been telling him like how, you know, hey, there's a lot of stuff happening here in Chicago. I'm going to send him a link right now to our YouTube channel, Chicago Corner. I don't think he's aware of Chicago Corner.
What?
Yeah, so
I think he knows, but I don't know how often he watches us because a lot of times he's like we are.
He's a bit. Look, I wouldn't blame him. Look, the guy. I can't even imagine what his schedule's like. It'd be nice if he knew of us. I don't expect that he's watched us, but maybe someday. We can only hope. And it would be great as one of Chicago's very own to have him come here and join us. All right, so I've got it queued up. Let me add it to the stream here. Oh, kid, I can't wait. I don't know what to expect here.
Wait. Hold on, wait. First,
we're gonna set it up. Okay.
Yeah, hold on. Wait. First of all, I'm messaging Jimmy right now. So
okay. Oh, wouldn't it be fun if he could jump in?
Yeah, I know.
Tap the theater mode so it goes all the white screen.
So hold on. Okay. So we have another channel dedication. Here, we are live streaming now. And playing the video you sent us. Period. And let me just give him the link to the thing. Boom.
This temporary interlude has been brought to you by Flavor Improving Mugs. The mugs that improve flavor.
So, Jerry, Edward, please play that video.
Are we gonna wait for Jimmy or see if Jimmy can join us or just play the video?
Play the video. Play the video.
All right, here we go.
I don't think he's going to join us, but we do invite him to join us.
All right. Here we go.
And the nonsense that you're spewing, that tourists aren't coming to our city. All you have to do is walk up and down Michigan. No, sir. You will stop speaking. You're full of crap. And that's the nicest thing that I can say. I will not let you spoil this moment, and I will not let you. If you do not stop, you are out of order. You are out of order, and you are a liar. You are a liar, sir, and you are out of order. I sit here, and I will not tolerate you besmirching the hard work of so many people who have worked in this. You may not agree. Then vote no. But I will not sit here silently while you besmirch my reputation and the people that work for me from your pettiness of the things that you're trying to do that expose this city to liability, sir. You are out of order. Now you can express your comments and your views, but you will not tear down the integrity of people who are working just as hard as you are. That is absolutely unacceptable.
Thank you, Jimmy. We love you.
She's cracked like a nut, so they call her macadamia. Whenever she gets back,
That's a Jimmy! 3-1!
And be sure to.
All right, let's start the commercial.
She's totally cracking.
The word of the day is besmirched.
Jimmy, by the way, if you are watching this is just so you know, Jimmy, if you're aware of this, so there's Heartlands Media, our YouTube channel, and then there's of course Chicago Corner. Now, Chicago Corner used to be a segment for Hard Lens Media, but we were able to make Chicago Corner become its own thing, and we dedicate this channel to Chicago politics, Chicago news, and everything that's happening here in the Windy City. And same thing with Hard Lens Media. Jimmy, we always like having you on as a guest, but also for Chicago Corner too. I'm also proud to announce that Hard Lens Media and Chicago Corner are also on CAN TV, which is a public access network too here in Chicago. We look forward to being on your show too, talking about current events that are happening here in the Windy City, because there's a lot that's happening, and in 2023 is the next city election. Just so you know, Jimmy, and for our audience too, we interviewed Byron way back when Hard Lens Media was just starting off, when he was an activist. He has been one of the very few people in Chicago that give a damn about the people in this city. There's a handful of aldermen that actually do care about Chicago, but it's not enough. And in 2023, it's going to be our next city election. I'm sad to let you know that in 2019 was a low voter turnout. Lightfoot was going up against Pretwinkle. Lightfoot lied to the people. She said she was a progressive. She said she was going to do all these things. But the sad fact is, Jimmy, and to our audience, there's still lead in our drinking water. Flint, Michigan doesn't have clean drinking water. We don't have clean drinking water. There's unchecked police corruption, political corruption. Our public schools are being defunded. There's not enough investment into mental health facilities. The working class here in Chicago are being gentrified and being kicked out. We would love to share this with you. And here's hoping that you can come to Chicago, because we'd like to see your show. You know, you're doing your show all over.
We want you back.
We want you back, Jimmy. So there you go. So
you know why nothing's getting done? Because all Lori does is she comes in, she screams at people, then she takes off to go do her fundraising.
Is that me gold?
What the hell are you?
I'm a leprechaun, me dear.
Here, this is what you're looking for, right?
Close my eyes, startling, help! I'm the leprechaun. Garth, I'm the leprechaun!
Cool it, okay?
I'm the leprechaun!
Stop it, all right?
Don't try and steal me pot of gold!
Jimmy, if you can ever join us, I got just this one extra thing to say.
Welcome to the party, pal.
There you go. All right.
We love Jimmy. The show over at Talia Hall last time he was in town was phenomenal. And he put on the second show. I wish we could have stayed for the second one too, because I heard he was able to go longer.
Yeah, and by the way, the food was great there too. So there we go. That's a whole other story for another day. So there we go.
Yeah. Well, listen, Jimmy, once again, if you're still with us, thank you so much for that super chat, and thanks for watching. It's really cool to know. If you're watching, Jimmy, I found these guys at Hard Lens Media because they interviewed you, and I reached out to them because I didn't know that there was anybody in Chicago doing what people like you on the West Coast were doing, or people were doing on the East Coast. Hard Lens Media is where it's at here in Chicago. You've been an inspiration to us all, and it's why I found Kit and Daniel and Ed here. And good things have happened because of it. So thanks for being an inspiration, dude. I also am a Columbia alumni, and I'm probably around the same age. So we might have some shit in common. Anyway.
Right, there you go.
That's really cool to know he shared that with you, and we were able to share it with everyone here. But yeah, this casino thing, it's just the conflict of interests specific to this information that the law firm basically double dipped, and that Lori is passing the buck along, not taking any responsibility for the city doing its due diligence. It's just more of the corruption. And speaking of corruption, there's the Rona destroyer.
All right, let's do this. Go into graphics right now.
Did somebody say corruption?
Speaking of Rona, guys, I tested negative today.
Well done.
I'm out of the woods.
All right, about time.
So speaking of corruption, this story came. I think Ed, were you the one who shared it in Slack regarding Representative Luis Arroyo?
No, I did see that story though.
Yeah. So let me. I got to bring the story up here so I can read from it on my alternate window. Of course,
maybe Kira might have actually posted that one.
It's a Tribune link, so I have a feeling it might not open. But let me see. Oh, wait. I can open it on this end with the archive tool you gave me. So let me copy and do a little paste. Please stand by, everybody. Sorry for the brief delay. All right. So here's the story. As we talk about corruption and the blatant corruption everyone else is getting away with, this poor schmuck got pinched. He's going to be serving 57 months. And when I look at what his crime was, it's like he's a piker compared to the stuff we're witnessing every day across our regular news cycle. Not to condone what he did, but it's just this is what gets pinched while the rest of our career criminal politicians, yes, and I'm talking to you, Rahm Emanuel, which reminds me, can't talk about Rahm Emanuel without.
I take responsibility for what happened because it happened on my watch.
We just hope he stays in Japan forever. Okay, so
no, I don't want to stay in Japan. I want Godzilla to step on him. Jerry, come on. Japan doesn't deserve it.
Well, okay. If there was a Godzilla, yes, I would prefer that Godzilla stepped on him. But until that happens, the farther away he is from Chicago and the United States, the better. Or maybe not for the better, because we talked about that. Whatever deals that he's wheeling and dealing for the Biden administration, speaking of criminals, we talk about Rahm Emanuel. Mr. 16 shots in a cover-up. Anyway, let me go to the article from the Tribune regarding Representative Luis Arroyo. This comes to us from Jason Meisner and Megan Crapo. You are a corruption super spreader. Judge sentences ex-state Representative Luis Arroyo to 57 months in prison in a bribery case involving the sweepstakes machine bill, saying he needed to send a message on the cost of public corruption. A federal judge on Wednesday sentenced former. It's not enough of a message with what we're seeing the rest of it.
This article is making the sex porn bots come back too. I mean, it really is a corruption super spreader.
Maybe. So the federal judge on Wednesday sentenced former state representative Luis Arroyo to nearly 5 years in federal prison for trying to bribe a state senator to help with legislation expanding the shadowy world of sweepstakes gambling machines. Rejecting a defense plea for probation, U.S. District Judge Stephen Seeger railed against Arroyo's dirty conduct, saying in a lengthy speech that he sold out an already corruption-weary republic and committed a frontal assault on the very idea of representative government. You are a corruption super spreader, Seeger said near the end of a nearly 4-hour hearing at the Dirksen U.S. courthouse. The public did not get what they deserved. They voted for an honest representative, and what they got was a corrupt politician. Arroyo's lawyers had maintained that a prison sentence for the longtime Chicago Democrat would do nothing to stop the state's seemingly intractable corruption problem and would be akin to draining Lake Michigan with a spoon. But the judge took particular umbrage with attempts to downplay what Arroyo did, and at one point asked defense attorney Michael Gillespie specifically about the spoon comment. What does that mean, the judge asked. What am I supposed to do with that? As Gillespie fumbled for an answer, Seeger interrupted with a stern voice. Maybe judges need a bigger spoon. So Arroyo, 67, entered a blind guilty plea in November to one count of honest services fraud, a move that came without an agreement with prosecutors on what sentencing recommendations should be made to the judge. The 57-month term imposed by Seeger was above the 4 years in prison recommended by prosecutors on Wednesday. Before the sentence was handed down, Arroyo, sitting at the defense table dressed in a baggy blue suit, issued a short apology to the court saying he cannot begin to put into words how awful I feel. I let my constituents down. I let my loved ones down, who mean more than anything in life to me, he said. Please take into consideration all of my life actions when you impose my sentence. Allow me to go home to my family as soon as possible. Arroyo did not show any outward reaction to the sentence. Seated in a courtroom gallery, his wife and daughter gasped and started to cry. The judge ordered Arroyo to surrender to the U.S. Bureau of Prisons no later than August 31st. So he resigned his seat shortly after he was arrested in 2019 on the bribery charges. A superseding indictment later added new wire and mail fraud charges against Arroyo and also charged James T. Weiss with bribery, wire fraud, mail fraud, and lying to the FBI, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He didn't make a lot of money off this crime. And it's kind of like Blago. Again, we don't condone Blago's crimes, but it's like, it's interesting how hard they come down on the little fish. While we've got big fish like this asshole who's in the light of day, this is where I wanted to transition stories. In the light of day is just, business as usual as far as what he can get away with and how much money he can make while enriching himself as he just moves along like a bottom-feeding fish, those scavenger fish just along the bottom of a lake, taking everything it can, when it's clearly conflicts of interest and clearly corruption. So this is why I want to transition from what Arroyo did, which was kind of small potatoes, to this. And this is happening. And nobody's going after him. And it seems that this is just business as usual. Retiring alderman, this comes from TDL, the Daily Line, retiring alderman defends move to scoop up city-owned properties in his ward at bargain prices. Alderman Michael Scott, departing Alderman Michael Scott of the 24th, is on track to benefit from a city-backed land deal in his own ward shortly after he leaves office that would allow him and his wife, Natasha Scott, to buy a pair of vacant lots adjoining their North Lawndale home. The alderman has defended the move as above board, saying he had no personal involvement in the pair of land sales and that his wife pursued through Mayor Lori Lightfoot's administration so that his young children can enjoy a safe outdoor play space in the shadow of their home. And planning officials in Lightfoot's administration also say the pending sales cross no legal or ethical lines. But it sure to hell doesn't smell right, does it, guys? Still, the Scotts were able to take advantage of a city-led appraisal that undercut nearby property values and of a city program that offers discounts to property owners who buy publicly owned parcels next door to them. Lightfoot introduced a pair of ordinances to the city council this week on behalf of the Chicago Department of Planning and Development that would sell a pair of vacant city-owned lots on the west edge of Douglas Park to Natasha Scott for a combined $8,000. Natasha Scott is a senior deputy to Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton. Now, let's keep in mind, yes, a tale of two laws. Thank you, Ilhan R. Michael Scott, just decided to resign to go join the committee over at CitySpace. And he's expecting he's going to have a say in who the mayor appoints into his spot that he resigned from while he goes and makes bank over at CitySpace, being the leader of that committee there with the community outreach.
Wait, CitySpace. But wait, hold on, Jerry, because I know you didn't know it. Yeah. I thought they went belly up.
No. CitySpace did not go belly up. CitySpace has been very successful in nurturing the film community here in Chicago. What they did was the family that owned CitySpace sold the studio to another interest from Texas that came in not only and bought the Chicago interest, but they also bought the interests of the studios in Canada. So basically, you got a big company that just took over CitySpace. The family that ran it has sold the studio. They're doing really well, bringing business to Chicago. But what's happening with CitySpace in regards to Michael Scott is there is a local outreach position that he resigned his alderman's position to go take that. He went to take that position, which pays a lot of money, while he's hoping that he has a say in who's appointed to his now departed spot. And he was talking about family members, his wife, while they're also able to pick up this parcel of property at prices no one else would. So yeah, it is a tale of two corrupt political officials.
Wow. All right. Well, I mean, the fact that he's involved in CitySpace, maybe you should pick that.
No. CitySpace has nothing. No. CitySpace hired him to be. CitySpace probably hired him because of his political relationship, sure. But CitySpace has nothing to do with the corruption we're talking about. With
all right.
That I am speculating about Alderman Michael Scott and how the city allows him to do this while they're going after prosecuting, well, at least the federal judges and the authorities are going after Representative Arroyo, who, he profited small potatoes. This guy who's retiring is probably going to have the mayor appoint someone he wants in his spot while he continues with enriching himself with the new position he's got over at CitySpace and this nice land deal he just got, these lots.
All right. Well, thank you for that education. And
You're welcome.
And also, Oreo, he gave us, I guess, a kiss to the cameras. There you go. Oreo's our official producer.
There he is. You got something to say, buddy? No? Mwah. All right. You get down. Daddy's got news to report. So, yeah, I just thought there was an interesting parallel there with this guy and how, he got pinched, but this guy is just, there's no pinching here with all the stuff that the mayor says it doesn't cross any legal or ethical lines. Maybe. Maybe. Real quickly, Lightfoot introduced the ordinances. It's just too green. Natasha Scott submitted applications to buy the properties on March 14th of 2021, according to Peter Strasser-Bosco, a spokesperson for the Department of Planning and Development. It's just all bullshit. I mean, look, he wouldn't have gotten these properties in a song. And the fact that he thinks he's going to, well, apparently not, he expects he's going to have some say in who fills the position he just abandoned so he could go enrich himself over at Cinespace is more business as usual here. All right, so let me take that story down. We're almost towards the end of the show, guys. I know there was a lot to cover here tonight.
Today was an action-packed show.
It was.
The appearance of Jimmy Dore, so there you go.
Yeah, especially at the front end with the horrible news we had to share regarding Chicago's walking man. All right, and remember, guys, $1,000 reward. I'm putting it up. You find this son of a bitch and report him to the police, and it's the guy, and he gets apprehended and charged and imprisoned. It's $1,000 out of my bank account to you. All right, so we're closing the show with some good news here. Kira reported on the McDonald's walkout strike here in Chicago on the Tuesday show in regards to the fight for 15 and unionizing lower income minimum wage jobs in Chicago. So this just comes from Chicago Tribune. Baristas at 2 Chicago Starbucks become the city's first to unionize. Hopefully it's the first of many. This comes from Talia Soglin at the Chicago Tribune. Workers at 2 Chicago Starbucks voted overwhelmingly to unionize Wednesday, becoming the first unionized Starbucks workers of the city. Baristas at the Starbucks at 5964 Northridge Avenue voted 20-3 to join the union, and baristas at the 1070 West Bryn Mawr Avenue store voted to do so 10-1, according to organizers with the Chicago and Midwest Joint Board of Workers United, the Service Employees International Union affiliate that represents the Starbucks workers. The Starbucks workers voted in person over the 2 days at the Edge Theater. The stores are located in the Edgewater and Edgewater Beach neighborhoods, respectively. Teddy Hoffman, a barista at the Ridge and Clark Starbucks, called the union vote exhilarating. Hoffman has worked at Starbucks for more than 6 years. I think the biggest part is just finally feeling like we have a voice and that our work has amounted to something, he said. All right, so this takes away some of the nihilism and existential crisis I have to see. They fought, they won. I think it means that we matter, that we're heard, and that we will be heard, that our resilience is paid off, he said. Sticking points for his co-workers have included wage increases and guaranteed hours so that they can maintain access to Starbucks benefits, he said. Nationally, the Starbucks Workers United campaign continues to grow. As of this week, baristas at more than 260 stores have filed for union elections, according to the National Labor Relations Board. As of Tuesday, Starbucks workers had voted to unionize at 85 out of 102 stores where elections had been held. A handful of results remained under contestation.
I get breaking news on Starbucks stores. 100 corporate-owned Starbucks stores have now voted to join Workers United. A store in Seattle has become number 100 for the Workers United Union. So that's pretty good news.
Yeah.
It's just the beginning.
Yeah. Ilhanner says Starbucks here to kill your union, just like Amazon, Walmart, Google, and I can go on.
And Apple.
H shares Howard Schultz is desperately trying to stop them to unionize.
You can't stop it now.
Yeah. Every time Howard Schultz has a tantrum, a Starbucks gets its union.
We got and they're all going. I mean, they're all going with the same union busting playbooks. They get their HR people to read the same boilerplate anti-union BS, and all it does is just make people want to establish a union. So
I do want to
keep it up, jerks.
I do want to add on this. I'm all for unions, but I want to quote our good friend Roger Meadows. If you're not following on Twitter, please do so. Unions great, but worker co-ops, make them happen.
That too.
Yeah. Do what you can to make sure that you are getting value for your labor.
We had a long conversation the other day about how some people will just utterly marginalize people who are working a minimum wage job as if it's not an essential job.
Yeah.
When people rely on the people in those in those essential jobs, which are essential, whether you're flipping burgers, grilling fries, or filling orders at Amazon. These people deserve a living. They deserve far more than $15 an hour. They should be getting 25 to 30 if it were to keep up with the cost of living. But hey, it's a start.
Every job should be a living wage job.
Yes, yes.
And
every house should be affordable.
Need to argue that point.
Every house should be affordable. When we hear about some of the housing will be affordable housing, shouldn't all housing be affordable for everybody?
And how do you define affordable?
Yeah, and if you want to spend billions on a mansion, that's your right. But we need affordable housing for everybody, not just we're allotting a specific amount of affordable housing. IndependentVotersParty.org joins us. Dominic, workers want protection from their employees while politicians want to protect the interests of their corporate donors. Miguel H., first step labor unions, next step workers co-ops. And he agrees with you 100%, as we all do. Mm-hmm. It's their time. Pay them.
Yep.
And we should thank Dominic again for inspiring us at Chicago Corner to create the 2023 Chicago Mayoral Pledge to the City, also known as the North to South and East to West Pledge, which we will be expanding on and revising, and we will continue to talk about it here. And when we have mayoral candidates that we'll be talking to, we're going to talk to them about this, because we need to make sure that when we elect our next mayor, that they are going to represent everyone, north to south, east to west.
Can I add a subtitle to the pledge?
Please. Yes, let's do that.
I want to call it the Chicago Corner Manifesto. We need
okay.
We'll add that to the long list of what it is.
I'll tell you what, Jerry. Just give me 1 second here. And I'm going to do this live.
All right.
Chicago Corner Manifesto. And now we're on the CIA's watch list.
I can't say I know how I feel about that. I'm not happy. I'm losing it.
Well, from that video that Jimmy sent us, she is losing it. And look, let's face it, folks. Here, I want to be very clear on this. I'm in full support. And I think I speak for Jerry, Edward, and the rest of the team for Chicago Corner, Heartlands Media. Look, we're tired of this city being screwed over. And this mayor that we have, Lightfoot, is just Rahm Emanuel, just at a shorter version. Just as
right. He's the 9-digit midget. She's 2 inches shorter.
She is
probably more.
She has actively made enemies of everyone that's helped her get into power. She's gone to war against Chicago teachers. Like, I'm not going to mention union leadership, but she's gone after Chicago teachers, the staff. She's gone after families on the south and west side. She is not an ally to anyone in this city. She has given federal relief money to the police. She has paid off the city's debts with federal relief money. She's been against UBI. She's been against any kind of political reform, police reform, or anything of that nature. Lightfoot is not an ally to the people, and I want her not to be reelected, because if she gets reelected, she will be on the warpath for vengeance to go after anyone and any group that has stood against her. Lightfoot cannot be made mayor of Chicago.
Excuse me, I think you're very, very out of line. I absolutely, I support.
Lightfoot, I am the boss of Chicago Corner and Heartlands Media. I'm the director of communications at 99 Perspectives, and I'm also the president of food and beverages. So as far as I'm fucking concerned, I outrank you and your 2 beans and your 3 beans, because I
just have to point out that I am not against UBI. Of course, UBI means Ultimate Bean Initiative, in which I add 1 more bean to the existing bean in Millennium Park. And then, of course, we are definitely supporting the Triple Bean Casino, which will be coming to a Chicago near you, which, of course, is going to have the custom coffee shops with the Triple Bean Espresso Roast which unfortunately we cannot currently have because I have banned all types of shots within a half-mile radius of Millennium Park, along with the completely useless 10 p.m. curfew, which is absolutely going to be effective for me somehow.
All right. Let me finish up the article before we go on to our last story.
Sorry I had to do that.
No. It's always good to have Lori Lightfoot come in swinging her big dick. In a statement, Workers United International Vice President Kathy Hanshaw said the union was extremely proud to welcome the Chicago Starbucks workers into the union. Starbucks bosses are no match for this new generation of union activists and no match for a united labor movement that is steadfast in its commitment to stand with them, Hanshaw said. Starbucks did not immediately respond to a request for comment Wednesday evening.
Of course they didn't. They don't want unions, but sorry guys, the ball's already rolling downhill. You can't stop this.
Yep. All right, last story, of which I'm also going to try to take advantage of also because, guys, my gas bills this winter were minimally like $280 a month when it got really cold.
Yeah, they were high.
So, this is interesting and exciting. I know that there were a lot of people on social media who had paid their bills on time that were kind of pissed off by this. But
yeah, it's mildly irritating.
It is mildly irritating, but they too have a chance to contact CETA to see if they can get on this refund. So, everybody, take note.
Shouldn't we just do that automatically for everybody?
Of course they should, but they're going to make you jump through hoops. I went to CETA's website the other day to initiate the process, and there was this long instructions like push the button to apply online to avoid the wait by calling, and there was no button to press to like do it online yet. Maybe it's because they just announced this initiative, and I got to go back there tonight and see if that apply online option is there. But People's Gas, after recording record profits, I wonder how, given how insane their bills were this past winter, wipes out balances for thousands with overdue bills. Customers can apply for assistance until Tuesday. That's this Tuesday. And this article just came out on the 25th, which was, Wednesday? Through the Nonprofit Community and Economic Development Association of Cook County or directly through People's Gas. And might I add on a side note, completely unrelated, May 25th was the 45th anniversary of the release of Star Wars. What a time it was to see that movie in theaters back then and be there when it happened. But I always remember May 25th as that very, very special day in cinematic history. Anyway, that's when this article came out. So
really quick,
People's
Kathy
Gas
Powers is asking when was it cold? Well, in general, we didn't have as terrible cold snaps in the winter as we have had in the past. But just the point that the energy costs were so much higher.
It was cold all winter. Yeah, okay. Maybe it was accentuated by the fact that the bills were much higher. I mean, last winter, I think during the coldest months of winter, which would have been December, January, my gas bill would have been around 150, 175. This year it was around 280 in the same.
And I can imagine that it had the winters been as harsh as we've had in the past, those bills would have been probably closer to 400 or 500.
Yeah.
And it's just absolutely ridiculous that we don't have a state or a city that's able to support people and rein in these energy companies from completely gouging everybody.
Kathy mentions that there is a class action against RCN. And Kathy, I did get the correspondence from the class action, and my options to participate and get money from that class action for the inflated late fees was the law firm representing the class action would send me 50% of what they collected, or they would apply 100% as a credit to my RCN bill. I don't know how the law firm gets 50% of what they claim, but I opted for the 100% to go towards a credit on my RCN bill. Ilhanner says, get ready for your electric bill to go up because we're breaking heat records again this year and every year. Yeah, that's your global warming. Willie bought the gas company. Lori's a gas. Yes, she is.
Lori's not only a gas, she's a solid and a liquid.
Science humor.
What was that? I missed what he said.
She's not only a gas, she's a what was
solid,
it? Solid and a liquid.
I beg your pardon. What did you say?
We need. By the way, we need to get a shorter version of the Get Out clip. Just right at the point where she tells them to get out.
We can stop this. Well, we can. Yeah, you can always stop that video at that point.
No, I want to start it at that point.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. I'll put that together. After getting Al Pacino together for the city council meeting, I got some choice Al Pacino drop-ins I want to add to the show. I want to add to a bed and whistles. I love me some Al Pacino. You ever had an Al Pacino Frappuccino from Dunkin' Donuts?
Yeah, I know the Frappuccino Cappuccino. Yeah, Dunkachino.
Anyway, back to the article. People's Gas is helping thousands of Chicago area customers cover their overdue heating bills, including by wiping out balances for about 12,000 residents.
Yeah, okay, but I mean, a lot of us scraped everything we had together to try and pay those bills on time, and I'm not faulting the people who had bills overdue. Yeah, by all means, wipe out those balances, but should just give everyone a credit on their next bill. Just send us a check or something. Everybody had to deal with this thing. It's not just the people who were behind on their bills. Yeah, it's all the other people too. Everyone, we were all in this together. Why are they not understanding this?
And when they talk about those who were behind on their bills, I doubt it was only 12,000 residents who were behind on their bills. So I'm wondering how they're means testing which residents who are behind get their bills wiped out or get the balances wiped out. Thanks to increased federal funding and state aid, those balances are expected to be cleared by the end of June, according to the utility company. People's Gas has seen record profits, yet has the most customers struggling to pay their bills because of those inflated record profits. You know, it's secular, right? To pay their bills of any People's Gas has seen record profits, yet has the most customers struggling to pay their bills of any Chicago area utility. With this, of course, the South and West sides hit hardest. The Chicago Sun-Times reported last month. A Sun-Times analysis found that nearly half of all households in some Chicago zip codes were behind on their gas bills this spring. Customers have until Tuesday to apply for assistance. I don't understand what they just announced this 2 days ago on Wednesday, and they've got till next Tuesday to apply for assistance in fully paying off their balance through the nonprofit Community and Economic Development Association, which is SEDA, of Cook County, or directly through People's Gas. There's an income eligibility requirement to help ensure that the aid goes to those who need it most, according to People's Gas spokesperson David Schwartz. For information on applying, go online to, and I'm copying the link to put in the chat, SEDA.org.net, find services, gas and electric. Let me pop that in here.
We need like a county attorney, a state's attorney, a city attorney to go after them and say, no, you're going to be giving everybody a refund.
Yeah.
You're not going to make them jump through all these stupid hoops. We got way too many with corporations in their pockets who are just letting them get away with this crap. Enough is enough.
You want to add that to the manifesto?
Yeah, add it to the manifesto.
Yeah, what are we going to do on this? What are we calling this?
The Chicago Corner Manifesto. So this particular initiative would be equal distribution of record profits to all utility customers instead of selecting just a handful of.
Where we had a section on the utilities.
Okay.
Where the hell was it?
People's Gas customers have already received $46 million in assistance since last fall, Schwartz said, adding that spikes in natural gas prices have caused springtime bills to balloon as well. That's why he said we want as many people who are qualified and who need the help to get it. When a worldwide spike in natural gas prices drove up heating bills across Illinois and the country, we made sure customers having a tough time paying bills had help, People's Gas CEO Charles Matthews said in a written statement.
Yeah, well, it was the last section, under timely upgrade and transition to municipal utilities and services. I had properly regulate existing utility and telecommunications contracts. So
Okay.
we can add equitable distribution of overcharged services, something like that. We'll come up with it. I mean, if you guys got ideas,
Miguel H has got it. Equal distribution of record profits for all utility bill customers. It's
Okay.
pretty simple. Thanks, Miguel.
Thanks, Miguel.
Yeah,
How's that puzzle coming along, man?
Yeah, that puzzle. Miguel, we're working on our manifesto. Why is it that we beat you on the manifesto? You're not done yet with the puzzle yet. Not done with the puzzle, Miguel H. You gotta work on that.
Okay, guys, I hate to like bring this image up again, but once again, here we go.
Yeah, all right.
$1,000 reward for this guy. Anybody who's able to find this guy, as shown by the police, the guy who set the walking man on fire. I'm putting up $1,000 reward. Please come back to the YouTube channel when I subclip that first part of the show regarding the reward and what happened, and share it all across social media. We get eyes on it. Hopefully somebody knows who this cockroach is and turns a dime on him, because he has to be apprehended. He has to be charged. He has to be thrown in jail for the rest of his miserable life. If this poor man, he's not, I doubt it. I don't want to be negative, guys, but I don't see someone with the burns that poor man sustained at his age surviving. It's horrible.
Yeah, I mean,
horrible.
I also want to add in too, again, all local media has been sharing this photo. So Chicago Block Club, ABC News, WGN, NBC5, CBS2, Fox 32. Look, as I said before, Chicagoans, the walking man was all of us, all right? We as Chicagoans got to come together. This horrific assault, it's inexcusable that there's all these blue cameras and we can't find this person, yet the red cameras are able to wrongly take photographs of people who are
steal money from people everywhere across the city. I also want to say, this is not a call to vigilante action. This is a call to, if you know him, call the cops, report him, and let us know here at Chicago Corner. We would want to verify that you were the person that turned him in and turned a dime on him. You don't go apprehend him. You don't go approach him. But if you know who this guy is, report him to the police department and let us know you did, and we'll confirm it. $1,000 on me. All right, guys. Anything else you gentlemen would like to share before we close our show?
I just want to share to people who are actually fans of us on CAN TV, if you live in the city of Chicago, right now we are going to be in the process of getting some guests on the show. We invite Byron St. Lopez to be a guest at the studio, to be interviewed for us on Chicago Corner CAN TV. But if you are in the city of Chicago and you do have access to CAN TV, Saturday, June 25th at, I believe it to be 8 p.m. on Channel 21. Our first episode of Chicago Corner will premiere, followed by Monday, June 27th at 10 p.m. That will be, again, same episode 1. And then for June 26th, Sunday, episode 2 at 7 p.m., Channel 21, June 26th. Episode 2 will come out. And then Wednesday, June 29th, episode 2 will also be available at 9 p.m. as well.
Let's see if I can bring that up a little bit larger. The information from CAN TV. Programming director, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring up his information, but I mean, it's public information. But here's the schedule, so people can check that out really quickly.
Yep, so there you go.
Isn't it drop a dime? What did I say, Kathy? Didn't I say drop a dime on him? I forgot what I said.
Yeah, I thought that's what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. So if you live in the city of Chicago, that's when our episodes will premiere. So there you go. Looking forward to it.
All right.
Okay, we had Ryan Clark earlier mention that we should come to G-Fest this July in Rosemont. G-Fest.
What is G-Fest?
Is Godzilla Fest.
Oh.
Which because we were talking about Godzilla.
Yeah.
Talking about talking about our Rahm Emanuel wish fulfillment.
And here actually is G-Fest.
All right.
Gonna be this July at the Hyatt Regency O'Hare in Rosemont.
Okay.
So if anyone, it looks like it's a 2-day thing, so they're going through the 17th. And if you're a fan of Godzilla and other types of kaiju, this is probably one of those events you'll want to catch.
And who isn't?
Yeah, I think actually, if I have the time, I want to go to this thing.
Let me know when you're going, and remind me. I'll join you.
We could do a little a feature. We could come and talk about it on Chicago Corner.
Yes. Speaking of attending events, I contacted the mayor's press office since I have press credentials, thanks to Hard Lens Media, because I'd like to start attending her press conferences where I can, as long as I have notification that they're going on, to ask questions. Questions like, Your Honor, Madam Mayor, why is it the blue light cameras don't work, to catch people who set other people on fire, but the red light cameras always work? And when she answers my question and asks, have I answered your question? I'm going to say, no. I'm just getting warmed up. Yeah, I want to get on that schedule and find out when she does her press conferences. I want to go and ask some questions. I don't want to be a pain. I want to ask some legitimate questions.
And we do have press casts.
We have a lot.
So there we go.
All right. I know you can't drop a dime anymore, Kathy. Then ring a cell phone. Okay? If that's you're out of order. You're out of order. This whole courtroom's out of order. That's what I would tell Lori. All right, Ed, share with us what you have.
What do I have? Oh, I have.
Wasn't there a pizza thing this week or last week?
There's always a pizza thing. But if you'd like to do a pizza thing in your home, go to realdeepdish.com and learn how to make Chicago-style pizza like deep dish or thin crust or caramelized crust pizza, which is always fun to try and see if you set off your smoke alarm in your home. Bake safely, everybody. Use plenty of ventilation. Learn how to make Chicago pizza at home. It's really not that hard. And you can get the recipes at realdeepdish.com. For the love of deep dish, make a pizza already.
As you should.
All right, Ed, thank you for that. Listen, everybody. Guys, thanks for joining me tonight. I know it was a long show. We're 2 hours, but a lot of important shit that we had to cover. And I thank you for staying with me for the entirety of it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to once again remind you as we go into the Memorial Day weekend, please be careful, be safe, be vigilant, especially for that asshole we're offering the reward for. Omicron is running around, so I would really recommend you go to highly populated events. Please think about wearing a mask. This thing isn't gone yet. Hopefully it's not strong enough to kill you, but as I suffered last week, even though I was vaccinated, it was pretty alarming. And just going to the weekend, we'll be back again Tuesday. Kira will be headlining the show on Tuesday. I'll be back again next Friday. Just be careful, take care of each other, stay safe, and remember, if it's happening on the streets, you'll hear about it here on Chicago Corner. Oria wishes you all a good night, as do I. Stay safe, Chicago.